Okay, we're going to get you back into solving equations, okay, all various types. Okay, so first off, I see the equation, I see the second power here. That means there's going to be two solutions to the equation. Okay, so if there's two, we make sure we have our zero, we have it. Now we have 1, 2, so that's two terms, okay? So since all I have is two terms, we're going to use GCF and then see if we have a difference of perfect squares, okay? And again, I'll need to write the perfect squares down for you. So 1, 4, 9, 16, because it's 4 times 4, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, and that's probably good enough. Okay, so set up my GCF, and then I'm going to see if I have a difference of perfect squares. Okay. So GCF, well, first off, we have a negative in front, so negative. And then I also have x attached to both terms, so x squared and x, so I need to put an x. Then we'll take 4. Factors of 4, you got 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Now let's see if we can divide these by 4, okay? So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 40 divided by 4 is 10. Okay, so 4. So negative 4x is our GCF. Okay. So then I divide by negative 4x, and that's going to be positive 1x, and then negative 10, so minus 10, and that cancels. Now, do we have a difference of perfect squares? You have a minus, but 10's not a perfect square. Okay, so since 10's not on that list, we get rid of that. Okay, so now to solve it, I'm done factoring it. I've broken it up as much as I can, so I've wrapped that up. And then I set each factor equals 0. That's factor 1, and that's factor 2. So negative 4x could equal 0. 1x minus 10 could equal 0. So I divide by negative 4, and I get 0 for my first answer. Then I plus 10 and plus 10. I get 10 for my second. 0 and 10. Okay, next problem. Again, there's that second power, so there's two answers. Here's my 0. So we have, again, two terms. So we're going to do GCF and see if we have a difference of perfect squares after that. Okay, so GCF. And then DOPS. Okay, so GCF, I don't have the negative. I don't have X on everything, so let's underline these and let's see if we can do 4. 1, 4, 2, and 2. Okay, so let's divide 4 by 4 is 1. Now let's take 100, divide it by 4, and that's 25. Okay, so 4 is my GCF, but just 4. It's not 4x, so just 4. Now 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I'm not dividing by x here, so that's going to stay x to the second power. And then 100 divided by 4 is 25. Now we have to see if we have a difference of perfect squares. So I have a minus. 25 is 5 times 5, so it's 5 times 5. And also, here's another perfect square I forgot to write. Okay, 1 is 1 times 1, and then x the second's x times x. So that's going to be 1x times 1x. Okay, here I'll write it bigger. 1x times 1x. So this is a difference of perfect squares. Okay, so I have plus and minus. That's how we always arrange in parentheses. And we're going to have 1x, 1x. And then 5 and 5, okay? Now, the 4 right there does not have an x, so that should not be used to solve the problem, okay? So instead, that's going to be factor 1, and that's factor 2. So 1x plus 5 could equal 0, or 1x minus 5 can equal 0. So at minus 5, 1x would equal negative 5, so there's our first answer. And 1x is going to equal positive 5, that's my second. Okay, my next problem. Again, there's two answers. This time there's 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's 3 terms. So instead of GCF DOPS, we're going to look to GCF, and then I'm going to set up my T chart. Okay, so GCF, and then my T. Okay. So GCF, I don't have a negative, I don't have X on everything, okay? And 1's my smallest number, okay? Well, the only factor of 1's 1, so there's no GCF, okay? So we just cross that out. And I just keep moving. A, B, C. Okay, so remember what we're doing here. We're taking A times C, so it's going to be 1 times negative 28. And that's negative 28. So since I got a negative, we're looking for a difference to equal 3. Okay? So 28 divided by 1 is 28. 28 minus 1 is not 3. 28 divided by 2 is 14, but 14 minus 2 is not 3. 28 divided by 3 decimal, so don't put it. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, so there we go. So what does A equal here? A is equal to 1. Okay, so there's my A, it's 1. So I just need 2 parentheses in order to factor this. So it's XX, and then 4 and 7. Okay, so we have minus 3, so you got minus 7 for sure, and difference means the signs have to be the opposite. So that's plus. Okay, there was no GCF to worry about, so we're down here. That's factor 1, that's factor 2. Okay, so x plus 4 could equal 0, or x minus 7 could equal 0. So minus 4, I get negative 4 for my first answer. Plus 7, I get positive 7 for my second. Okay, my next problem, there's 2 answers. And then again, we have 3 terms. So we're going to do our GCF. And then we're going to do our T chart. Okay, GCF. We don't have the negative. We don't have X on everything. We do have 12. So 12 divided by 1 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then I just come back to 4. So let's see what we can divide these by, possibly. Okay, 12 divided by 12 is 1. 22 divided by 12 is a decimal. Okay, so let's get 12 out of there. 6. Okay. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 22 divided by 6. Okay, that is not going to work. Now let's go to 4. 12 divided by 4, 3. 22 divided by 4, it's a decimal. That is not going to work. 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 22 divided by 3 is a decimal. Now let's check out 2. Okay. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 22 divided by 2 is 11. And 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay, so 2 works. Okay. But it's just 2. It won't be 2x. So just 2. So we're going to have 6x to the second plus 11x minus 10. Okay, so I take A times C. So it's 6 times negative 10. That's going to be negative 60. Okay, it's negative again, so we're looking for a difference that is equal to 11. 11, okay, 11. So 1 and 60, nope. 60 divided by 2 is 30, that's not 11. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 minus 3 is 17. 60 divided by 4 is 15, and there's 11, okay? So our A equals 6 this time. By the way, cross that top out. So I need four parentheses total. So I put 6, and then it was x squared, so it's x, and then I put 4 and 15. Okay, so I've got plus 11, so we got plus 15 for sure, and difference would be minus. Okay, now we need to divide these down. Okay, so 6 and 4, so 4 is smaller, so 1, 4, and 2 and 2. And then 6 and 15, 6 is smaller, so 1 and 6, and then 2 and 3. Okay, let's see if we can divide by 4. So 6 divided by 4 doesn't work. Now let's try 2. Okay, that works. So 2. So it's going to give us 3x minus 2. So scribble that out. Okay. Okay, can we divide 6 and 15 by 6? Nope. Yeah, our 15 will not divide by 6. Okay, now let's try 3. That's 2, and then 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, so 6 is not the winner, 3 is. So 2x plus 5. Okay. Now we did have a GCF here, the 2, so you're going to drop it down. But since 2 doesn't contain an x, it will not be used to solve the problem. My 2 factors come from here. Okay. So 3x minus 2 equals 0. Then 2x plus 5 equals 0. Plus 2 plus 2, 3x equals 2. Okay. 2 divided by 3 is 0.6 repeating. Minus 5, 2x equals negative 5 divided by 2. Negative 5 divided by 2 is negative 2.5. Okay, now I'm going to go over 4 more examples. You need to go to the second video because I got to switch batteries on the camera.